Ayah saya mati dah 5 tahun dah. Masalahnya adik-beradik saya bukan berebut harta, tapi sampai sekarang harta tu tidak dibahagikan, diuruskan. Adakah beliau kata selesa atau tergantung lagi anak tak urus harta? Siapa antara anak beliau yang patutnya urus harta? Adakah abang yang sulung? Apakah hukum antara anak yang tidak menguruskan harta pemegang harta dengan segera? Saya buntu sebab saya nak uruskan diri pun tak reti. Harap ke abang sampai ke lening, abang pula duduk jauh-jauh. Ni keluarga baik. Keluarga lain berebut harta. Keluarga ni tak mau cara ke harta. Tinggal harta berjuta-juta dengan tanah, dengan kebun. Nak anak-anak biar saja tak bagi. Jawabnya, sunat dibahagikan dengan segera. Siapa yang tidak mahu ambil, Baitul Mal, sedekah, tabung jihad, perjuangan umat Islam. Biar selesai dengan segera. Dan kalau tidak dibahagikan lagi, guana hukum mayat, tak ada masalah. Yang jadi masalah, mayat tidak ajar anak-anak dia tentang harta pusaka. Bila mati, anak-anak berebut melakukan kezaliman sama sendiri, ayah berdosa di alam barzakh. Faham? Melambat-lambatkan tidak menyebabkan terseksa mayat, tak ada masalah. Tapi makruh hukumnya. Biar selesai dengan segera. Nampak? Tak reti nak bahagi, sekarang kita ada amanah raya. Nak beri kat dia, inilah nama waris anak-anak, ni IC dia. Nampak? Upah penilai akan nilai apa semua, jual ke siapa, kontik konsultan, dia akan urus belaka. Jadi kita malas nak urus. Nak panggil abang, nak potong setiap IC, nak serah ke amanah raya, biar dia urus. Patut amanah raya bagi dah, orang ni 25,000, orang ni 25,000, orang ni 50,000. Tak boleh, sedekah bagi kat masjid Surabaya, biar selesai masalah. Dulu kita kena selesai sendiri tak? Dan ni ada satu jabatan, ada konsultan yang tolong uruskan.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Our group represent the research project Islamic Banking and Finance. For the title is The Factor Influencing the Delay and Failure in the Distribution of Faraid Among Muslim in Kelantan. My name is Aiman Shakira binti Abu Bakar. I will present for the introduction of the chapter 1. The distribution of Islamic wealth management is very relevant to the economic and social aspects of Islam. Islam is a unique religion that determines how someone should conduct business and economic activities in accordance with the Quran and the Hadith. In countries where there are large numbers of Muslims, a Muslim real estate financial planner must be provided with sufficient information about the law, concept and practice particularly related to the distribution of wealth or assets in accordance with Sharia law, Yusuf 2017. Unfortunately, there are still many Muslim communities in the country who are still not aware with the importance of real estate management that have been recognized in Islam and also have the benefits. Background of the study. Faraid is an integral part of Sharia law. Faraid has systemic effect to develop knowledge and quality of life, which is evident in the Truth Hadith, which states that Faraid is half of total knowledge. Historical facts found that Islamic law of inheritance was considered as the stimulus behind the improvement of algebra, Al-Azami, 2011. The effort to discover the factors that contribute to delays and failures in the administration and distribution of inheritance are crucial. There are several methods have been put in place to solve this problem, but the process is still a burden. So it is important to know the reasons for the delay in the distribution of the estate left. Over the years, claim processes were very costly and time-consuming. There have been increasing trends in volumes of unclaimed property over the years. Fazira Shafi'i, 2017. The increasing number of frozen assets has become unresolved issues faced by the Muslim community in Indonesia. For Muslims, Quran and Hadith provide absolute guidance of how to distribute wealth among family members and relatives of a person who passed away. Distributing the property correctly requires thorough studies of or expert guidance, because the rules stated are in detail and distinctive to each person. This paper will study the most prominent issues and factors that the delay in distribution of faraid among Muslims in Kelantan. The research found the factors and present the views by each section of factors. First, distribution of community and legal health. Second, legislation. Third, knowledge. And the last one is the lack of administration and distribution system. For the problem statement, there are often faraid issues which are still considered by the local community. Most communities prefer to distribute the property fairly without following the rules set out in faraid. In 2019, the result of estimation for the estate planning industry in the country has increased from 14 billion ringgit Malaysia and increased drastically time to time, and a total of 52 billion ringgit Malaysia outstanding values of the estate since Malaysia was independent in the 1950s to the present. The Ministry of Inheritance Division under the ministry recorded about 16 billion ringgit Malaysia in assets not claimed by the deceased heirs. Anand 2016. The legal constraints and social problems have caused the delay in distribution of faraid among Muslims in Malaysia. Zulkafli and Ahmad 2016. When a death occurs, the heir will manage and handle the next estate claim to distribute it to eligible beneficiaries. However, there are so many reported cases of failure to distribute the estate due to some issues and problems. Because the public does not take these issues seriously, it causes unwanted and unresolved issues of faraid. Research objective. There are four main objectives of this study: to examine the factors that influence the delayed distribution of faraid. First, to examine the relationship between attitude of community and legal heirs and the delay in the distribution of faraid among Muslims in Kelantan. Second, to examine the relationship between legislation and the delay in distribution of faraid among Muslims in Kelantan. Third, to examine the relationship between knowledge and the delay in distribution of faraid among Muslims in Kelantan. And the last one is to examine the relationship between the lack of administration and distribution system with the delay of distribution of faraid. For the research question, the research question of the studies are: is there any relationship between attitude of community and legal heirs with the delay of distribution of faraid? Second, is there any relationship between legislation and the delay of the distribution of faraid? The third, is there any relationship between knowledge and the delay of distribution of faraid? And the last one is there any relationship between the lack of administration and distribution system with the delay of distribution of faraid? For the scope of the study, this study seeks to do analysis about delayed distribution of faraid. This study will focus on the issues in the inheritance property, which is the issues that common among the people Muslim in Kelantan, and will carry out in Kelantan to know how many informants know about the faraid. So the generalization result with only Muslim around Kelantan. Significance of the study. The research is conducted to identify the delay and failure in the distribution of faraid among Muslims in Kelantan that affect to attitudes of the community and legal heirs, legislation, knowledge, and the lack of administration and distribution system. The purpose of the study to ensure that the heirs understand the importance of the distribution of faraid. The delay and failure in the distribution of faraid related to the lack of understanding of the actual concept of inheritance. Based on the aims of justice in the distribution of property, division in inheritance should not be construed as too rigid and constraining. The last one is conclusion. Faraid is the method of inheritance allocation in which these divisions has been determined from the point of view of its heirs and rights. Kamaruddin and Abdullah 2016. This chapter is to study the relationship between the delay and failure in the distribution of faraid and attitudes of the community and Hearst legislation, knowledge and the lack of administration and distribution system among Muslims in the Kelantan. The study to ensure the community should be aware of the importance of dividing inheritance to enhance public understanding of faraid. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, we continue the chapter 2, the literature review of the research. According to Hayati Muhammad Dahlan 2012, many people still do not have will or planning with distribution before they death. Her opinion, who claimed that the planning of with distribution was not widely practiced in community. So we have 4 independent variables. First is the attitude of community and legal Hearst. Ahmad Razimi 2016 conduct the study to carry out reveal the fact that there are many treasures that have not made an application for the allocation of faraid and some of the case of prolong. It is estimated that a total of 42 billion ringgit of Malaysian of Muslim inheritance has failed due to certain problem. So they are related to the lack of attitude community and the ignorance of the heirs itself. Other than that, Zulkifli and Ahmad 2016 used a qualitative study by analyze the literature and particular structure interview to observe the factor that cause the late application of immovable asset distribution and its solution. The result implicate 2 main problems in unclaimed Muslim immovable asset management, which are the restriction of law and community social problem. So we move to the second of the IV, which is the legislation. Legislation is one of the factors that contribute the delay in distribution of faraid. According to Muhammad Hassan Azmi Zainuddin and Hassan 2019, there are conduct a survey on 153 respondents and had found that legislation was the dominant factor that contributing the delay in distribution of faraid. Why? Kamarudin and Abdullah 2016 used a quantitative approach based on the data collected to provide an understanding of faraid legislation in the current context of Malaysia. Therefore, unclaimed property is one of the growing economic problem among of Muslims in Malaysia that cause the property to freeze and need to take long time to resolve. Ahmad Razimi 2016 also conduct the research use quantitative approach based on journal, article, and data collection to discuss and identify the problem and issues arising in the cost of distribution of estate using faraid legislation. It is estimated that an amount of money of Muslim inheritance has failed to distribute to the legitimate heirs due to the problem occurs. Next, we move to the third of IV, which is the knowledge. Knowledge is an understanding, awareness to the fact, information, description, or skill which occur through experience or education by perceiving, discovering, and learning through someone or something. According to Adila and Yazid 2016, the delay in the application for inheritance allocation is also due to the ignorance of the heirs to the management and distribution of Islamic in Malaysia. As expressed by Abdullah 2007, the public consider that the process of that the process of claiming inheritance management is difficult and complicated because it requires high expenses and cause the inheritance allocation process to be delayed. Besides that, the other author said Malaysian Muslim know and common to the term of Faraid inheritance estate, yet they do not have an understanding about it. So the reason Muslim ignore and nonchalant towards Faraid are lack of knowledge on Faraid and misunderstanding that they have about it. Muhammad Hassan Azmi Zainuddin and Hassan 2016. Next, for the last independent variable is the lack of administration and distribution system. The lack of guideline and less officer that manage the inheritance case also one of the factors that caused the delay of distribution of Faraid. According to Shafi'i, 1 Yusuf and Al-Adrus 2016, statistic from Amanah Raya Berhad record 38 billion ringgit Malaysian until 40 billion ringgit Malaysian asset that not been claimed yet from 2006 until 2007. In addition, as stated by Muhammad Azmi and Sabit Muhammad 2011, the cost of unclaimed asset, late claim and distribute estate of deceased Muslim in Malaysia because of the procedure that have to follow is too lengthy and costly. Findings state the Muslim people still lack knowledge and understanding when dealing with unclaimed asset. According to Ahmad Baharul Ulum, Muhammad Nasir, Muhammad Zahari, Muhammad Ramli, Amran 2017, the institution needs to further their role in education and promoting about awareness in the Islamic law of inheritance. So we move to the dependent variable, which is the factor that delay and failure in the distribution of Faraid. Malaysia is the cause of increase in unclaimed property in Malaysia, which directly has a negative impact both economically, legally and socially. If society does not handle it well, if the heir extend the application for inheritance distribution immediately after the death of the other right holder, the issue will not arise. According to Adila and Yazid 2016, the failure to expedite the application of inheritance allocation management will generally result in the loss of immovable and uneconomic asset and thus adversely affect the individual, community, and national economy. As expressed by Muhammad Hassan Azmi Zainuddin and Hassan 2016-2019, there are some problem or a crisis that has long been suffered among Muslims in Malaysia. In the number of unclaimed inheritance or value of the frozen asset has become increasing trend. It is proof that the problem is serious and reason to concern among the parties. As a conclusion that can be concluded that communities still lack of understanding about Faraid and also not take serious of the here because there are many issues that the unclaimed asset in the community. People who know about Faraid will not neglect their wealth. In addition, they will find a solution about how to divide their wealth according to Sharia. So the unclaimed asset will not be neglected.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ainul Najiyah binti Jumali. I will discuss about chapter 3, which is research methodology. So in this chapter, it will discuss about the methods and procedures for achieving the objective of the study described in chapter 1. Let me start with conceptual framework. In in the conceptual framework, it have two variables, which is independent variables and the dependent variables. So in the independent variables, it have attitude of community and legal heirs, legislation, knowledge, and the lack of administration and distribution system. So all of the independent variable are affected to the dependent variable, which is the delay and failure in the distribution of Faraid. So there is 4 hypotheses of the study, which is hypothesis 1 is there is a significant relationship between the attitude of community and legal heirs and the delay and failure in distribution of Faraid among Muslim in Kelantan. Second hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between legislation and the delay and failure in the distribution of Faraid among Muslim in Kelantan. The hypothesis 3, there is a significant relationship between knowledge and the delay and failure in the distribution of Faraid among Muslim in Kelantan. The last one hypothesis is there is a significant relationship between the lack of administration and distribution system and the delay and failure in the distribution of Faraid among Muslim in Kelantan. So let me move to the point 3.4, which is research design. This is study on the delay and failure in distribution of Faraid among Muslim in Kelantan. A quantitative case study is good for gaining in depth the relationship between the delay and failure in the distribution of Faraid and attitudes of the community legal heirs, legislation, knowledge, and the lack of administration and distribution system. This research can help the community to reduce the delay in the distribution of the property. So from the study, we decided to collect data by using quantitative method. It almost 3 months from April to June to 2020 to collect data at Pengkalan Cepa, Kelantan by filling up the questionnaire given. So the participant need to filling up the questionnaire from all community, gender, and the most of the participants are ages above 20. In that questionnaire, we looking forward with the 4 aspects, which is the attitudes of the community and the legal heirs, legislation, knowledge, and the lack of administration and distribution system that are impact to the delay and failure in the distribution of Faraid. Next, 3.5 is sampling design. So in the sampling design, generally used to select sample units for measurement. In this study, we use quantitative method to the study on the delay and failure in distribution of Faraid among Muslim in Kelantan. So this research using 3 sampling, which is population, sample size, and the sampling technique. For the first point is population. The population in the study was all Muslim community with all genders, and most of the ages of participants are above 20 years old. For the sample size, for the sample in the study are male and female with all community in term of the groups of teenagers, all person and related. The group of community that fulfilling inclusion and exclusion. So in the sample size can be defined as measures the number of individual samples measured or observations used in a survey or experiment. Thus, this study is using probability sampling. In the probability sampling, each population member has a non-zero chance of participating in the study. So the last one is sampling technique. In the sampling technique, there are several different sampling techniques available, and they can be subdivided into 2 groups, which is probability and non-probability sampling. So in this research, we use probability sampling technique. In the probability sampling technique are divided into 4 methods, such as simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified random sampling, and cluster sampling. From 4 method in the probability sampling. This research used simple probability sampling to pick a respondent among Muslim community in Kelantan. Then we open 50 questionnaire paper, which is 25 from male gender and the rest of 25 from female gender to fill the questionnaire. Besides that, we open the link of questionnaire through social media such as Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp groups, and so on. So normally, questionnaire would be distributed to the respondents to get the independent variable and also the dependent variable.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Ainaf Kira. I will continue with my friend presentation about 3.6 about research instrument. In this section, the researchers use questionnaire as a research instrument in this study. Okay, Simon also say that research instrument is a type of collecting data tools or device such as questionnaire, interview, or test to gather information. By the way, questionnaire also will be divided into few parts, which is section A, section B, and C. Basically, section A will be the part of demographic of respondent in terms of age, gender, place, and so on. While section B will focus on independent variable, which were family, personality, and education. And lastly, section C, the questionnaire will discuss about and will be focused on the dependent variable, which was the factor that are influenced in the delay and the failure, the distribution of faraid among Muslims in the Kelantan. Next, 3.7 data collection. In this research, we use quantitative method. Quantitative method emphasize objective measurement and the statistical, mathematical, or numerical analysis of data collected through polls, questionnaire, and survey. Quantitative approach were used to determine the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable within a population. A questionnaire is a research instrument consisting of a series of questions for the purpose of gathering information from respondents. Questionnaire were used as the data collection technique in this research by giving to the respondent about 375 copies of questionnaire will be distributed to the respondent all over Muslim in Kelantan. The respondent will be selected carefully as the questionnaire need to be answered by the Muslim as they have the information on what the research needed. 3.8 Data analysis procedure. In the data analysis is the process or sequence of defining, organizing, providing, interpreting, identifying, and evaluating the existing data. In this research had used descriptive analysis, reliability analysis, and inferiority analysis. So to order or to analyze, collected, and identify the collection of the data analysis. Okay, for the 3.8.1, for the descriptive analysis is a process of interpreting, rearranging, ordering, and manipulating data to form descriptive information by transforming a raw data to become a form or tabulate so that it is easy to understand. Typically, descriptive and statistic will summarize and present the data after they measure the control tendency and the dispersion or variability of the data. Okay, reliability analysis. Reliability means the consistency, stability, and repeatability of result, which means the result can be retested, and if the result obtained is same or almost the same, it stands for variable. For example, the researcher can test it from a small group of respondents and obtain the result, then we continuously add in a fixed amount of respondents. While inferiority analysis used in this study to examine the relationship between some independent variable and independent variable directed effects on this relationship. Finally, conclusion. It can be concluded that in this research was used in quantitative method, so it will make easier to research collecting data tools or device to gather information about 408 among Muslim in Kelantan. In addition, it can be analyzed easily and easy to understand the information that be analyzed in description, variability, and inferiority analysis. Okay, that's all from us presentation. Thank you.